Okay, we're here with another exercism problem walkthrough. So today, doing Collatz Conjecture. Over here on Exercism.io, we can see the question. It's also called the 3x plus 1 problem. So you're given a positive integer n. If it's even, divide by 2 to get n divided by 2. If it's odd, multiply by 3 and add 1. And so you repeat this process indefinitely, and the conjecture states that no matter what number you start with, you'll always end up with 1 eventually. And so our function that we need to write should take a number and return the number of steps that it would take to get down to 1. Okay? So just right off the bat, repeating this process indefinitely, seeing how many steps of the same kind of calculation we need to make, is making me think that this could be a recursive function. Let's get rid of this semicolon. I don't really like semicolons. And so we set up this project with just the Exercism CLI, Exercism download. The name is Collatz Conjecture, name of the exercise, and track JavaScript. And that basically put a project, a whole little project in our folder here. Home, Exercism, JavaScript, Collatz Conjecture. And we can see that there's some metadata from Exercism, the node modules, because I already ran npm install. The npm rc, not sure what audit false is. Linting, this has Babel set up for you. And the spec file, so this is the unit tests. And you can see, not really sure why it depends so much on that Babel stuff, but anyway. Okay. So I'm going to run npm test and add the dash watch flag to this underlying command that it's running, which is just jest. And, okay, let me just do, let's add this if that only. And a lot of times when you first download this problem, all of these tests will have xtest. Well, maybe not all of them, because then it won't really run anything. Okay, so they're all skipped. And we have 6 tests that we need to make passing. And I'll just make this first one, that's not the first one, this first one. So if it's equal to 1, then we should have 0 steps, okay? So first of all, steps is going to take a number, I'll just call it n, and if n is 1, then I guess we could just return 0. Cool. We're doing it. Wait. Are we though? Alright, let's make this test pass now. So we need to divide if it's even. So to check if even, I'm going to say n modulo 2 equals 0. And I could even make this a variable just to make it a little more readable. And so this whole thing is an expression itself that will either evaluate to true or false. And then I'm assigning that to is even. So I could just say is even, then call steps with n divided by 2, okay? And now we need somehow to keep track of the steps. So what I'm thinking I can do is have maybe another variable here that's the steps, and take advantage kind of how dynamic JavaScript is. So steps will still work calling it with only one argument, and I will call this function, and this will be n, and steps will just be undefined or null. Yeah, so it's kind of dangerous to do this and a little bit hackish, but that's just how you gotta go in JavaScript. I mean, I could make a new function under here, which is steps, that has 2 arguments. Maybe that's what you have to do in a lot of other languages, but this is a little bit cleaner in my opinion. You just have, less code, one function. You can either call it with one thing or both things. And basically, if you don't call it with stuff. So the one thing here that we need to be careful though is that you can't have an argument name that's the same name as the function. So, like, we need maybe a better name for this. It's kind of the steps that you've taken already, maybe steps taken. So if we don't have any steps taken, then I'm just going to set it to 0. And if n equals 1, now we just need to do steps taken, and not 0 every time. And so if it's even, then we're going to call steps with that half of what n is, and then I'm going to add 1 to steps, and then return steps. So in order to use the value of steps taken, steps taken that has the 1 added, you have to put the ++ in front. And so getting received expected for, received undefined. So we actually need to. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm just gonna add a console log in here just so we can kind of see what's going on. Calling steps taken with, and then our arguments maybe. And because I ran just without watch, we can see it just automatically come here. So 1, it's undefined, it's 0, and then it is 1, so it should be just returning 0 here. So it is actually, our first test is passing. And now I want to call steps taken with 16. Okay, so let's take these off. Okay. So if it's even, it is. It seems like it's coming down here. Now it's calling 8 with 1, 4 with 2, 2 and 3, and now we're getting down here. Sending steps taken. should be returning 4, so I'm not really sure why that's failing. Received undefined. Oh, okay, because so we're calling steps here, but we need to return the value of all these recursive calls, right? So there's the answer. And okay, so now I have an example with odd numbers. So if it's odd, and I'm just going to put an else here, because else, if it's not even, it has to be odd. I'll even put a line, I like space things out, you know, give it some room to breathe. So we're going to call steps function with n times 3 plus 1. And we're also going to add 1 to steps taken. And we're good. Works. So let me well, let's go through the next test before we clean up any of these comments. But they're kind of getting annoying. The fourth one works. Okay, interesting. So maximum call size stack exceeded. Interesting. Okay, so this is saying only positive numbers are allowed. It wants us to return this error here. If it's 0 or 15. Then, okay. So I'll just have another check up here. If it's less than or equal to 0, then I'm going to throw this error. And they want it to say specifically this. And it's looking so nice now. Let's clean up some of these console logs. Don't need these curlies if it's just one thing, return steps taken. Cool. Even these curlies we can get rid of too. And I'm liking that. Liking that a lot. And we can see everything's good here because our tests are passing. We have the nice just green checks output. We can just submit this with, it's just exercism submit. And then the path, so this is Collatz Conjecture.js. And then you can see there on Exercism, you can get feedback from the mentors. So it's really a cool platform that's focused more on like learning quickly rather than just like being competitive and being better than everyone else. You know, like we can all get the best possible, most efficient, readable solution. So we might as well just help each other to get there, right? Also, a cool thing is that I added this to my Git repo, so I can say version my code and just, you know, keep pushing things to GitHub on my profile every day. So that's pretty nice, and I actually wrote a blog post about how to do this, so you should check that out. Check out gymlunchcodes.com and more of my videos. And if you want to take up this little spot here and remote pair program with me, that would be cool. And I'm looking for people, so hit me up. Bye.